how you doing?
Doing very well. How you doing?
Very good.
Doing good.
We had a comment from the boss the other day that I thought I'd bring up. So he thinks we should change the intro for this segment.
He said, but freshen up the intro with some new music or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure. I'm kind of partial to what we have because it's so awful.
It is. It's like, I remember the first time I heard it, because I don't know how long we've been doing this hit now for 3-4 years at this point.
It's been a couple of years, yeah.
The first time I heard it, it was just like, it was a work of art. So I don't know how I'll feel about a new one.
We'll have to think of some songs. I'll use like Duran Duran or something.
Something, yeah. Maybe we'll,
Flock
you know
of
what?
Seagulls.
We'll try to make it worse.
Oh, well, I look forward to it. That challenge accepted.
All right. Before we get into the game tonight, I guess we should touch on the Duncan Keith conversation.
Ooh, 38-year-old Duncan Keith. Is he going to be an Oiler?
If there's one thing that this city loves to get mad about, it's rumors about things that haven't happened, you know?
That's a good point.
It would be a needless move for the Oilers. So if we're just going to believe the rumors and the insiders for, you know, what they're saying and what they're hearing, Duncan Keith wants to get closer to his family, which is in the Okanagan.
Okay.
So his options really are limited, right? And apparently it's down to the Oilers in Seattle, with the Oilers being number one on his list.
And that'd be a trade, right?
That would be a trade, exactly. So my point that I'm getting to is that the Oilers hold all the cards here. They wouldn't have to give up anything of value, because if he's going to say, I want to go to one specific team or two specific teams, why would you give up anything of value for him? Now, Duncan Keith was an excellent player, but we're talking about a guy, you know, a decade ago.
Yeah.
He's on the back. He's only got a few holes left on this round, if you know what I'm saying. So,
actually, he might be playing a playoff round here.
for a guy who's going to turn 40 by the time his contract ends, it's you don't want to give up too much for that, because it's not the Duncan Keith we all remember, the guy that won the Norris Trophy, the guy that won the Stanley Cups. It's
2 Norris Trophies,
player.
I think.
And his contract's expensive. So I can understand why Oilers fans are a little bit rattled about it. Obviously, nothing's happened yet. The real fun will be if it actually goes through and they actually give up prospects or anything of value to get him. Then we'll see the meltdown. But until then, it's just kind of like, wait and see. Who knows?
I was sort of under the impression that if it did happen, it wasn't going to hurt us too bad. That's what the sense that I got. And if that's the case, then why wouldn't we take a chance on a veteran guy that might have one last run in him? You know, like I don't know.
And there's also something to be said about picking up a guy that has multiple cup rings and, like Grant said, Norris trophies. The experience. He's been everywhere and he's seen everything. You know, so there's value in that. But you don't want to give up too much to get him, because his contract at this point in his career is just it's way too much.
A lot of people are having the conversation about the Tampa Bay end of the season cap situation with Kucherov and the abuse of that rule, which is legal. What they did was actually legal. They kept him off of the payroll for the season. They were allowed to do that, and then they activated him as soon as the playoffs start, which put them way over the cap. There's also a conversation about, and maybe you know more about this. Somebody sent us a text earlier in the week and said, you need to bring this up with Bag Milk. Something about state tax and signing players, so they actually have more room in Tampa Bay based on that conversation.
Well, players will sign for less, I think, because they don't have to pay any tax there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
so
like
that's what it is. So
if they sign in Canada, so much of their contract gets taken away.
Yeah, so the highest taxed place to play in, like one of the highest taxed places to play in the NHL is Toronto, as an example. So if you make $10 million as your cap hit, what you're actually taking home is drastically different if you sign in Toronto or if you sign in Tampa or Florida. So for the Lightning, they have the advantage of being able to sign guys for a little bit cheaper because they don't have that tax implication. But in terms of the cap, it was pretty funny to see what they did, because Kucherov was on the long-term injury reserve all season with an injury, and then as soon as the playoffs started, he's just like, I feel fine.
I'm healthy.
So it's a major loophole that they took advantage of, but it's like Locke said, it's not against the rules. So until they close that loophole down, I think this is going to get more and more common now.
I don't know if I agree or disagree with it, because if you run into a situation where you're forcing teams to live within the cap into playoffs, as tough as they are, you're handicapping teams severely that run into injury issues, right?
I don't know where the answer is to the question, because this Tampa situation is a little bit unique. I mean, it happened with Chicago a while back. They did the same thing with Kane. With Kane. He came back for the playoffs after an injury. So it happens. It's happened before. It's going to happen again. And until they close the loophole, I just imagine we're going to have this conversation over and over again, especially if the team that does it, like the Tampa Bay Lightning, win the Stanley Cup.
Well, yeah, and the Lightning are going to win the Cup at some point. And
I didn't need to say it today.
The one nice thing about it, because I'm like so bored of Tampa Bay Lightning, at least Patrick Maroon's going to do the three-peat.
Yeah.
Right? He's a good guy.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing I'm happy for with Tampa winning as well, because I'm with Grant. It's just like, okay, you're very, very good. We all get it. But at least Pat Maroon's going to get the three-peat. And that's something that, you know what, that's a pretty fine result for a guy who is playing ball hockey or wherever it was early on in his career, So I'm pretty happy for Pat Maroon.
Can we say out loud that it'll also be awesome watching the Habs lose?
Well, there's also a thing, like I just saw this morning. A couple of people tagged me in a tweet where the Canadians were potentially thinking about having some kind of parade, even if they lose, just to congratulate the team. Like they're like, we like this idea. So it's like giving them a participation ribbon or something. I don't know. I saw that one circling Twitter this morning, and I was just like, that is the saddest thing I could ever imagine.
Just the saddest parade ever.
I want that to happen so that we can make fun of it. Yeah.
Pathetic parade ever.
All right, Bag Milk, Oilers Nation, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, boys.